Hi, my name's John. This will probably be the last part of the review on this TIG welder. What I want to do today, I want to talk a little bit about MMA welding, manual metal arc, stick welding. I want to show you how to set the cables up on the machine, how to set the dials up on the machine to do stick welding. I'll be doing some stick welding. I'll try and do some welding through a mask so you can actually watch the welding process. As I've already said, I'm not a welder. I'm a motor mechanic that can weld. That being said, I have done a lot of stick welding. And there's much better welders than me on YouTube that'll show you how to stick weld, TIG weld or MIG weld. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to use a 2.5mm rod. It's a 60-13 rod. It's an easy rod to use, a general purpose multi-position rod. Stick welding is often referred to as arc welding. I think it's called stick welding because when you try and strike an arc up, the bastard rod sticks to the job. Hopefully with an inverter it won't stick to the job. Right, the wiring for stick welding is different obviously to the wiring for TIG welding. The major difference is on TIG welding you use positive earth. On stick welding you use negative earth, positive live. First thing we'll do, disconnect my TIG torch. Just turns and unplugs. I can leave the gas pipe connected and I can leave the foot pedal connected because they don't concern with the won't be getting used. Then we'll take our earth out, move our earth from positive earth to negative earth. Use the same earth lead for stick welding as you do with TIG welding. You're also supplied with an electrode holder. It's called a stinger. I don't know why it's called a stinger. It will probably sting. What it is, it's a clamp that holds a welding rod. Welding rod goes in there. You have it sticking straight out, 45 degrees either way. Right, pointing straight out the end. What a lot of people do, they put the rod in straight and they'll bend it to whatever angle is convenient for that welding. Right, so our stinger goes onto the positive side of the welder. Just to recap, positive electrode, negative earth. Maybe somebody can comment and tell us why they call it a stinger. Bastard. Right, the controls on the front of the welder. We've got a switch on the top here which says MMA TIG, and actually we want it on MMA, manual metal arc, that's stick welding. With that one on DC. None of the other ones concerned with. That one is our main amperage control, we'll set that up in a minute or two. There's a knob here which says arc force, that is to do with stick welding. All the other ones don't concern with. Right, we'll set the amps up first. I'll turn the machine on. To weld with a 2.5mm 60-13 rod, we'll need about 75 amps. .74, 75 amps is a good starting point. We may have to go up, we may have to come down slightly. Simple enough, set your amperage. There's a knob there called arc force. Sometimes it's referred to as dig. What it does, when you're welding, you try and keep what they call a tight arc. If you're welding along there, you try and keep the rod really close to the job. If you get too close, the rod will stick on an old transformer welder. If you get too close, if you touch the rod into the weld pool, it'll stick. Possibly why they call it stick welding. Once it sticks, you've got to arrive and wiggle and arc the bastard thing off. What this does, if you turn the arc force up, it senses the voltage change as the rod's going to stick, and it bumps up the welding current to stop it from sticking. So you can basically turn it all the way up and drag the rod along the job, and it'll weld without sticking. I have used an inverter before for arc welding, but I've not used an inverter with one of these controls on, so I'm looking forward to experiment with it and seeing exactly what it does. Right, we've got some bits of 10mm thick angle line here. What I'm going to do a weld run across there with that amperage set to 75 amps with a 60-13 rod, a new rod, one run with an arc force first set to 0 and then going up quarter, half, 3/4 up to full. So I'll do a weld on that one, a weld on that one and that one. So we're using cool metal and a new rod for every bead. So first test with the arc force on 0, 75 amps. This is the first one that had the arc force or the TIG set to 0. Quite a reasonable weld. Second one with a quarter of the way up. This is the second one. That had 25% arc force on it. Next one at half. Third one with the arc force set halfway up. Three-quarters. This is the fourth one. Arc force was set at 3/4 or 75%. The last one with the arc force at 10. This is the last one with the arc force set all the way up. The amperage was exactly the same. It's a much tighter bead. That's the first weld. That's the second weld. Third weld. Fourth weld. That's the last one with the arc force set right up. It was a much tighter arc, much stiffer arc than the first one, which was buttery and watery. Right, I've got a T-joint set up on 8mm plate. I'm going to run a weld bead along there, probably 3 beads. I'm just going to weld it and see what happens. I'm going to set the arc force at 75%, same amperage on the rod, 75 amps. Now we keep a nice tight arc. I can actually feel the flux rubbing on the joint and there's no attempt of that to stick. Hardly moving the rod at all. I don't know whether you can see that, but the flux is bollocks, man. How well you can see that, but the flux is peeling off by itself. That's a nice weld. We've done 3 more passes, sorry, 2 more passes. That's in the bottom plate. Just about half of the original weld bead. One more the other way. tricky weld by anybody's standard. See where the flux is lifting up by itself, means you've got the amperage set somewhere near. When you consider the position I'm trying to weld this in, I've got a camera right up close to the weld, that's not bad. I see I've done quite a lot of stick welding, and without a doubt this is the best welder I've ever stick welded with, without a doubt. Once I started doing the series of videos on this welder, I had no idea what was going to happen. And it was after the second one I was contacted by TIG, who asked if they could put a link between their webpage and their YouTube. Obviously so that customers could watch what I was doing with their welder. Not a problem. The more views I get, the better, you know, the happier I am. One thing led to another. And then they actually asked us if I would mind doing a review on the new plasma cutter. Well, if they're going to send me a plasma cutter to play with, naturally I'll do a review on it. But I told them the sort of bloke I am, I call a spade a bastard shovel. If they send me some gear up to review and it's shite, I'll tell them it's shite and send it straight back. I've not used a plasma cutter before, so I'm looking forward to it coming and having a bit of play with it. Anyway, thanks for watching.